5 people were killed on Tuesday after Kenyan police fired on demonstrators as they stormed the National Assembly building. The crowd was protesting against controversial new tax measures being pushed by President William Ruto and with many already passed by lawmakers. So for more on this, Bloomberg's Ondiro Ganga joins me from Kigali. Ondiro, just walk us through the events that led to this moment. How did we get here?
Jumana, this has been a long time coming. In 2023-2024, the government passed the first finance bill that doubled VAT on fuel, introduced a controversial housing levy at 1.5, and increased income tax. Kenyans protested this, but the government, because they had numbers in parliament, they were able to see this bill through. Come 2024-2025, there's a new finance bill that proposes even more taxes, and some of the controversial clauses were taxes on bread, levies on fuel, import tax that was going to affect sanitary towels and diapers. And these rallied Kenyans amongst themselves. These got them really angry because they felt these taxes were going to mop up whatever little liquidity they had left. The government needs these taxes in order to raise revenue, balance their budget, and unlock funding from the IMF. But the people are not on the same page with the government this time around. They lobbied themselves on social media in numbers and hit the streets of Nairobi. Now, while they were out protesting, Parliament was taking a vote on this bill, and it easily sailed through the floor of Parliament because the opposition party did not take a vote. Instead, they joined the protesters in calling for this bill to be dropped altogether. And while this was happening in Parliament, some of these protesters in Nairobi, Kenya, were approaching Parliament. They breached the gate and they gained grounds to the Parliament grounds. And what happened next was the most tragic thing in the recent history of Kenya. We saw police shooting at these protesters using live rounds on live television, and international media was broadcasting showing 2 lifeless bodies lying outside of Parliament. And the breach of Parliament, according to analysts, just goes to show the magnitude of anger in Kenyans, because this has never happened before, even in 2007 and 2008.
Yeah, pretty shocking images, and we've been showing them now on our screens. IMF, of course, warning that Kenya's debt, 67% of debt to GDP, is getting close to distress levels. And so the government has to do something about the state of their deficits. Either they can try to increase revenue, and in this case, that's being met with a lot of protests, or cut spending. What are the government's options from here?
Jumana, like you said, President William Ruto is caught between a rock and a hard place, because if he sails through with this bill and signs it into law, he unlocks revenue from the IMF, but he's risking socio-political tension in the country. And so what is he to do? Is he to go back to the international market and borrow, but then yields are really expensive and investors are really, they have some doubts about Kenya's fiscal stability. And we saw him come out yesterday. He was very bullish in his tone. He mentioned things like dangerous, criminal, and treason, saying that national security agencies have been deployed to thwart any threat to national security. On the other hand, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya, reminding President William Ruto that power was bestowed to him by the people and there's need for conversation. But these protesters are resolute in their determination to hit the streets over and over again until their grievances are addressed.